What is the Ark of the Covenant? The Ark of the Covenant is a chest that held tablets engraved with the Ten Commandments written by the hand of God given to Moses. According to the Hebrew Bible, the Ark was constructed by the Israelites while they were camping out in the Sinai desert after their exodus from Egypt. The Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, does not specify when they fled Egypt. It's thought about 1500 BC. And there is a debate among scholars as to whether there ever was an exodus from Egypt. Well, I believe there was. And the ark, they said, vanished when the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem in 587 BC. But according to the book of the Maccabees, it said that the prophet Jeremiah hid it in Mount Nebo. Mount Nebo is just across from the east of the Jordan River in what's today Jordan. And it's from there that Moses overlooked and saw the promised land, even though he did not enter it. And Mount Nebo is basically just across from the Jordan River from Jerusalem. So now the ark has a number of seemingly magical powers according to the Hebrew Bible. In one story, the Jordan River stopped flowing and remained still while a group of priests carried the ark across the river. That is, the Israeli tribes moved off, and while the priests were standing in the river, the ark, and the last to cross over out of the river were the priests, and that's when the water from the river started flowing again. Other stories describe how the Israelites took the ark with them into battle, where the powers of the ark helped the Israelites defeat their enemies. Now, when the ark was captured by the Philistines, there were outbreaks of tumors and diseases that afflicted them, forcing the Philistines to then return the Ark of the Covenant back to the Israelites. Some stories describe how death would come to anyone who touched the ark or even looked inside it. The ark, by the way, had three things contained in it. It had the tablets of the Ten Commandments, it had the rod of Aaron which budded, and it had a container full of manna. Those three things were contained in the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the first and most famous version of the construction of the ark is found in the book of Exodus. It describes how a large amount of gold was used to build the ark. The second version, found in the book of Deuteronomy, briefly describes the construction of the ark made just of wood. Understanding the story surrounding the ark is challenging because of the different accounts. Some scholars believe multiple arks could have existed, could have been constructed, and used at the same time or at different times. The story of the construction of the ark told in the book of Exodus describes in great detail how God ordered Moses to tell the Israelites to build the ark out of acacia wood and gold, with God supposedly giving very precise instructions. Exodus 25, verse 10 to 11 says, "Have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits, that's about 3.75 feet or 1.1 meter long, and a cubit and a half wide, that's 2.25 feet or 0.7 meters wide, and a cubit and a half high or 2.2 feet high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out, and make a gold molding around it. Poles made of acacia wood and gold were used to carry the ark, and 2 cherubim angels were to be sculpted out of gold and placed on the lid of the ark. The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover with them. The cherubim are to face each other, looking towards the cover. This is according to Exodus 25:20. The tablets engraved with the Ten Commandments were placed inside the ark, as well as Aaron's budding rod and a container of manna. Now, the Hebrew Bible directed that the Ark of Covenant be placed in a movable shrine known as the tabernacle. Various curtains were there. It prevented people from viewing the Ark of the Covenant, and they were set up within the tabernacle, and an altar and incense burners were placed in front of the curtain. The incense was made of gum resin, onychum, galbanum, and frankincense, and was to be burned by Aaron, the brother of Moses, and his sons, who were priests, at morning and sunset prayers. The man named Bezalel was chosen by God to build the Ark of the Covenant, and furnishing the location within the tabernacle, according to the Hebrew Bible. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills to make artistic designs for the work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of crafts, end quote. This is according to Exodus 31, 3-5. Oholiab was chosen by God to be Bezalel's assistant, with skilled craftsmen helping them, according to the Bible. Now, during the reign of King Solomon, the first temple was built in Jerusalem. It was the holiest place in Judaism. It was constructed in Jerusalem, and the Ark of the Covenant was placed in an inner sanctuary covered in gold, as according to the Hebrew Bible. The book of Deuteronomy, on the other hand, tells a story of the construction of a much more modest Ark of the Covenant. The book says that at one point the Israelis were worshiping a golden calf instead of God. Moses was so enraged by this that he smashed the stone tablets engraved with the Ten Commandments. God ordered Moses to help create new tablets engraved with the Ten Commandments and create a wooden ark that they could be placed in. Chisel out, he said, this is according to Deuteronomy 10, verse 1-2. Chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones and come up to me on the mountain. Also make a wooden ark. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Then you are to put them in the ark. So I, Moses, made the ark out of acacia wood and chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and I went up to the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hands. The Lord wrote on these tablets what he had written before, the 10 Commandments he had proclaimed to you on the mountain. It's according to Deuteronomy 10, verse 3-4. Moses then put the tablets inside the wooden ark. Now, what about this claim that there could be multiple arks? It's possible that there were multiple arks that could have been used at the same or different times. Before the cultic affairs of the Israelites were concentrated exclusively in the capital of Jerusalem, there had been arks, probably of different sorts, wherever God was worshipped. Tudor Parfit, professor of religion at Florida International University, who's done extensive research on the Ark of the Covenant, wrote in his book, The Lost Ark of the Covenant, solving the 2,500-year-old mystery of the fabled biblical Ark. I don't think it's fabled, but this is what he says anyway. These early arks would have been simple wooden containers, wrote Parfit. After Israeli worship became centralized in Jerusalem, the story may have been retold to describe one elaborate Ark of the Covenant made of gold, Parfit wrote. Stories of survival. It's not known what happened to the ark after the first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, according to the book of Maccabees, as we said, 2 Maccabees 2:7. The ark was hidden in a cave in Mount Nebo by the prophet Jeremiah, who said that this place shall remain unknown until God gathers his people together again and shows his mercy. Another story tells of how the ark was brought to Ethiopia and is now in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. Supposedly, there is only one guardian of the ark who is allowed to view this ark, but Life Science recently reported that a scholar named Edward Ullendorf saw the ark during World War II and found that it was not the original ark. So there may be other stories of ark survivals that Parfit mentioned in his book. There are stories about how it's hidden near Jerusalem, in the city of Mecca, and even in New Guinea. How is that possible? One text called the Treatise of the Vessel says that the ark shall not be revealed until the day of the coming of the Messiah, son of David, and the book of Revelation claims that the ark will not be seen again until the end times. Revelation 11:19 says, Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and within his temple was seen the ark of his covenant. And there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, an earthquake, and a severe hailstorm. And this is on Live Science by Owen Jarvis. Please tell me what you think. I think that basically the actual ark that was built by Moses, carried around for 40 years in the Sinai desert, and then placed in the first temple in Jerusalem, was actually taken and hidden by the prophet Jeremiah, who was told in an oracle in a vision by God to hide the Ark of the Covenant so it would not be taken into the Babylonian exile. Please leave your comments. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.